All right, so today we're diving into something that's got everyone in Vancouver buzzing, especially those looking to buy their first home.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty big deal, right?
Definitely, especially with election season in full swing, both the Liberals and Conservatives have pledged to eliminate the GST.
The goods and services tax.
Exactly. On homes priced at or below $1 million for first-time homebuyers.
Interesting. So basically trying to make those first steps onto the property ladder a bit easier.
Yeah, exactly. And with Vancouver's market being, well, let's just say a little intense.
A little.
We're going to try to figure out what this could actually mean for you guys, if you're thinking about buying.
Absolutely. We're going to break down the potential impact of this promise and whether right now might actually be a good time to jump in.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we're looking at some insights from Brandon Obmanson. He's the chief economist for the BC Real Estate Association.
Right. And he was featured in a news article published on March 20th, 2025.
Okay, so first things first, we got to clarify exactly what this TST exemption would look like. It's not for every home out there, right?
Right. It's specifically for first-time buyers. And there's a catch. The home has to be newly built or, significantly renovated.
Okay, so not just any condo will do.
Nope. And the price can't go over $1 million.
That $1 million limit is kind of a key detail, don't you think?
Absolutely. And Obmanson seems to agree. He was quoted in the article saying, anything helps.
Especially in a market like Vancouver.
Exactly. He sees this potential GST cut and that other policy, the 30-year mortgage amortization for first-time buyers, as steps in the right direction.
Sure, baby steps maybe.
Yeah, but he doesn't sugarcoat it. He acknowledges that these alone won't solve the whole affordability crisis.
Well, yeah, let's be real. For most first-time buyers, the biggest mountain to climb is that down payment.
Oh, for sure, especially when you're looking at Vancouver prices.
Exactly, which is why what Ogmanson said next really caught my eye. He basically said that this policy might not have a huge impact on the major markets.
Like Vancouver.
Especially Vancouver because it's, well, the most expensive in the country.
And just to highlight that the article mentions that last month, February 2025, the average price for any home in Greater Vancouver was just under $1.2 million.
Wow. Okay, so think about that for a sec. The GST break applies to homes $1 million and under, but the average is already over that.
Yeah, that makes you wonder how many homes even fall under that $1 million mark.
Especially for those looking at new builds or significantly renovated places.
Right, and that's the type of property this GST exemption is for.
It makes you think, will this really help as many people as they're hoping in Vancouver?
It does raise questions about how much of the market this actually applies to.
So for those of you in Vancouver wondering, is now the time to buy? Well, it's a tough one.
Yeah, this GST exemption might not be the be-all and end-all, especially when you look at the average home prices.
It probably won't be the thing that makes or breaks your decision.
True, but there was another interesting detail from the article. You know how it mentioned a buyer's market in Metro Vancouver?
Oh yeah, what was that about?
Well, a buyer's market basically means there are more homes for sale than there are people looking to buy.
So does that mean prices could drop?
Potentially, it could give buyers a bit more leverage, maybe some room to negotiate, and could mean more choices.
That's interesting, and it's something that's happening regardless of this GST policy.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's recap what we've learned for all our Vancouver listeners out there.
All right, so the GST cut is definitely a step towards affordability, but
yeah, there's a but.
That $1 million cap might hold it back a bit, especially in Vancouver.
Yeah, it's a market where the average price is already significantly higher.
Exactly.
So here's a final thought for all of you. Even if this particular GST policy doesn't totally change the game,
there are other factors at play.
Like that whole buyer's market thing.
Yeah, it suggests there might be some shifts happening that could create opportunities for first-time buyers.
So yeah, keep your eyes peeled, do your research, and think about the bigger picture.
It's not just about this one tax break. There's a lot more to consider in the Vancouver real estate landscape.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time.